Okay? I did a lot of stuff. I mean, I did stuff from T-ball when my own kid played. I did pitching machine stuff. I think I even did stuff with the old farts in the Ponce de stuff. I don't regret doing any of those. I don't regret doing American Legion baseball because I was an American Legion baseball player as a kid. I've done over 20 American Legion state tournaments, probably over 10, 15 American Legion regional tournaments. I've done 4 American Legion World Series. Almost all my World Series is with Tim O'Toole. I don't regret that at all. It got me to go lots of places and do lots of things. I've umpired in 20, well, not 23 states. I've umpired in 22 states, plus the District of Columbia. Taxation without representation. Colorado was where it started. Although when I went to college in Ohio, since I was a baseball player, I took lots of difficult courses. I took officiating basketball, officiating football, officiating baseball, and officiating track and field. I got licenses in the state of Ohio for all those sports. I also umpired church league, slow pitch softball. It's exciting when you hear someone in a church league game go, "God damn it." That's just what happened. But that's where I started doing some stuff. Colorado, coinciding with my first Air Force assignments, when the first time I started doing really college or high school baseball. I went back to Ohio. When I went back to Ohio, Southwest Ohio, where I grew up, I started umpiring there with the men who, when I played high school baseball, that I complained about or complained at. And I never thought much about it until I got here and found out I was the Craig Alden of Southwestern Ohio. Because he's been in the same situation and done the same thing. Came to Virginia and did all kinds of stuff that's unbelievable to me. Including the perfect game he alluded to that I didn't know I had until it was over. Worked in Maryland. That's all I can say. I worked in Maryland. The District of Columbia was interesting. Delaware, one of my favorite coaches in Delaware, the Shermanator, Jim Sherman, who would come out and yell at me when he was pissed at my partners. And I would stand there and say, "Jim, you're yelling at me because you're pissed at him." And he'd go, "I know it, but I can't yell at him. He'll throw me out."
First fix that game.
You're going to find there's a theme to a lot of my stuff. Alden's in a lot of it. O'Toole was in a lot. You're going to be surprised who comes next. Worked in New York. We went to Long Island. Worked at Hofstra. I had a tour through the city of New York with a civilian, not a taxi driver, but it seemed like a taxi ride. We went to an Italian restaurant, we went to a cigar bar, we drove down the street with the window down going, "What the hell are you doing? Get out of my way." Seeley enjoyed that. We went to Massachusetts. Barrett and I went there with another guy the first year that Northeastern came in the conference. It's the only time I saw one call strike 3 and eject someone at the same time. That was Darren. It was not me. I went to Connecticut once, to Torrington, during the American Legion thing. That's when the Eastern Seaboard power grid went down. Fortunately, the Mohegan Sun Casino had a generator. I went to South Dakota for an American Legion World Series to Rapid City. Then the only time I've seen Mount Rushmore. I also went out in the middle of friggin' nowhere and saw this big half-finished statue of Crazy Horse, which I thought was cooler than Mount Rushmore, to tell you the truth. We went to Cedar Rapids, Iowa for a American Legion World Series. At the time they had it there, Iowa had 4 American Legion teams. They thought it would be a good idea to have one in Iowa to see if more people would play. I don't know if that worked. Coolest one, I went to Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and stayed in a hotel that was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. I got in my room, and the first 45 minutes I spent in my room was trying to look for a corner that had a 90-degree angle. There were none. My shower was a triangle. Every room in the place every corner was something else other than 90 degrees. It's the biggest thing I'll ever remember about Bartlesville, Oklahoma. My room wasn't square. Biggest thing I remember about Texas is I got 2 liters of IV. North Carolina has some interesting people. South Carolina had some really nice people. Florida was another American Legion place. Alabama. Coolest thing about Alabama was during one of my regional tournaments, and this must have been the year from hell, because in the regional NCAA regionals that year, number 1s and number 2s lost in like 4 places. So I was the little baby guy.
8 places.
8 places. Number 1 and 2 lost in 8 places. Well, I was in Alabama, and we had Alabama was rated the number 1 seed, and Auburn was number 2. I was the little rookie baby guy in that place, so the little baby guy had the first game in the losers bracket, which meant it was 11 a.m. and it was Alabama versus Auburn.
The loser was done.
And the loser was done. I umpired the plate in a game with over 6,000 people yelling, screaming, and complaining at 11 o'clock in the morning. That one I will remember forever, because I thought I said, man, this Alabama kid is really good. Well, I found out why. Because the day before, when they played some people who they thought they were going to beat, they didn't throw their ace. This dude was an All-American. And I said, he is really good. Well, no shit, he didn't pitch the day before. That one was the greatest one of all. Georgia. First tournament I ever had was in Georgia, regional tournament. And I always try to talk to catchers and say, so this kid comes in to pitch in the 9th inning of my play game. And I said, hey dude, do you know anything weird I got to worry about? And this kid from Georgia looks up to me and goes, he throws gas. I said, yeah, okay. Kid threw 11 pitches. Found out after the inning, the 9th inning, which he finished, that in those 11 pitches, the slowest one was 92, and the fastest one was 96. And he threw gas. I'll remember that one. Arkansas, last one I went to. Last regional I had was in Arkansas, and that was a good one too. It was lots of fun. Pennsylvania, I don't know why in the hell I went there. I think it was American Legion stuff. West Virginia, I ended up there. There was a American Legion regional there, plus I did some stuff there. The only thing that ever irritated me there was the coach, Van Zandt, who could be a pain in the ass, was there when we had an American Legion regional tournament, and I'm doing a play, sun's out. Here comes Van Zandt. He says, if you don't get off the field in 10 minutes, we'll never finish the rest of this tournament. What? He says, yeah, see that cloud out there over right center field over that mountain? I said, yeah. He says, well, in 10 minutes, it's going to rain like hell. I said, why don't you go tell the tournament director that? Because I got, let me alone. He went and told the tournament director. We came out and said, get off. 10 minutes, no, not 10 minutes later, it was 13 minutes later. It rained like hell. Hated the fact that the coach knew more than anybody else. I went to New Jersey, I went to Tennessee. Don't regret that at all. I do regret learning how to use PowerPoint and Keynote. I don't regret teaching classes doing that, and I don't regret watching people become better than me through that, but I sure do regret learning how to use those two, because people did something to me rather than for me or with me. Because of that,